Okay, so this is the review for the quiz on complex numbers and factoring. For numbers one through 3, it says simplify each expression and write your answers in the proper form, meaning if we have a complex number, it must be in the form a plus bi. Okay, so example 1, we have a subtraction problem. One trick, just make sure you distribute the negative sign. So this is going to become -2 minus I minus 8 minus 4i. Okay, and now at this point, it's just combine numbers and then combine the parts with the i's and write it in the form a plus bi. So we have -2 minus 8, that's -10. And then you have minus I minus 4i, so that's going to give you minus 5i. Okay, so that's the final answer for that problem. Again, it's in the form a plus bi, -10 minus 5i. This next problem, you're going to have to distribute. Okay, you're going to distribute the 4 first. That's going to give me 4 times -3 is -12. Okay, 4 times -3 is -12. 4 times 2i is plus 8i. And now you're going to distribute this 8i right there and right there. So 8i times -3 is minus 24i. And then 8i times 2i is plus 16i squared. Now, if you remember, I equals the square root of -1. So I squared equals -1. So we have -12 plus 8i minus 24i plus 16 times -1, because I squared equals -1. So now we can make that -28, -16. I'm getting ahead of myself. That's -16, 16 times -1. And now combine like terms, you get -28 minus 16i. -12 minus 16 is -28. 8i minus 24i gives you -16i. Okay, number 3. You're multiplying 3 things, so let's start with 6i times -i. 6i times -i is -6i squared. Okay, I did 6i times -i, that's -6i squared. And I squared equals -1. So this is -6 times -1. -6 times -1 is 6. So it's 6 times 5 minus 4i. And now you're going to distribute. 6 times 5 is 30. And then 6 times -4i is minus 24i. Okay, so that's a complex number. It's in the right form, a plus bi. These are all complex numbers, 1, 2, and 3. They're all in the form a plus bi. Okay, 4, 5, and 6 are going to be solved by factoring. So number 4, this one has a GCF. Always check for a GCF first. This one has a GCF. The GCF equals 8x. So I'm going to factor out the GCF of 8x. And it's going to leave me with x minus 5 in parentheses, because 8x times x is 8x squared. And 8x times -5 is -40x. Okay. Now set each factor equal to 0. Okay, so we have 8 equals 0. We have x equals 0. And we have x minus 5 equals 0. 8 equals 0 makes no sense. Ignore that one. X equals 0 is one answer. Solve this, and you get x equals 5 for the other answer. Okay, this next one. It's already equal to 0. That's good. There is no GCF. And it's 1x squared. A trinomial where it's 1x squared, these are the quick factoring ones. You just have to find two numbers that multiply to negative 10 and add to negative 3. Now you need two numbers that multiply to negative 10 and add to negative 3. Those numbers are going to be x minus 5 times x plus 2. Because negative 5 times 2 is negative 10, and negative 5 plus 2 is negative 3. So now you're going to set each factor equal to 0 and solve. So x minus 5 equals 0, which gives you x equals 5. X plus 2 equals 0, which gives you x equals negative 2. Okay. Now number 6, this is a trinomial. It's not 1x squared, so this is the long one. This one also has a GCF, so let's take out the GCF first. The GCF looks like it is 4. So you factor out the GCF first. It's going to give me 6x squared. Let me use some color. Minus 5x. Minus 6. Okay. 4 times 6x squared gives you 24x squared. 4 times negative 5x gives you negative 20x. And 4 times negative 6 gives you negative 24. Okay, so we took out the GCF, but now we have to factor this trinomial. Okay? So here's how we're going to factor that trinomial. We need two numbers. First, you can take that 6 and you multiply it by that negative 6. That gives you negative 36. Okay? I took that 6 and then multiplied it by that negative 6, and it gave me negative 36. Now we need two numbers. They must multiply to that negative 36. And they have to add to this number right there. They have to add to negative 5. So you got to think about what those numbers are. It's going to be 4 and negative 9. Okay, that's the pair you want. So what I do is I take these numbers and I replace the negative 5x with those two numbers, like this. Okay, we still got the 4 out front, still got the 6x squared, but I replace the negative 5x with these two numbers. So in this case, 4x minus 9x. Okay, so I'm going to do plus 4x minus 9x, and then minus 6. Okay. So now I do factoring by grouping. I'm going to group these two together, and I'll group these two together. So the first group has a GCF of 2x. Again, this 4 stays up front. First group has a GCF of 2x, which leaves me with 3x plus 2 in parentheses. Because 2x times 3x is 6x squared, and 2x times 2 is 4x. The second group has a GCF of negative 3. I'm going to take out negative 3. Because if I take out negative 3, it leaves me with 3x plus 2. Because negative 3 times 3x gives me negative 9x. And negative 3 times 2 gives me negative 6. If you accidentally take out a positive 3, then you're going to have negative 3x minus 2, which does not match those parentheses. Okay, but at this point, the parentheses 3x plus 2 match, so that gets factored out front. Keep writing the 4 first. 3x plus 2 gets factored out. Everything left over, in this case 2x minus 3, comes after that. I finish up here. Okay. Finishing up here. Set each factor equal to 0 and solve. either 4 equals 0, which makes no sense, or 3x plus 2 equals 0, or 2x minus 3 equals 0. Okay? Solve each one. First one makes no sense. Ignore that. Second one, subtract 2 and then divide by 3. X equals negative 2/3. Last one, add 3 and then divide by 2. X equals 3/2. Okay, so that last problem was tough. But that's the review for the quiz on complex numbers and factoring. So I hope that helped.